the pulsing reason your lungs breathe oxygen that Lake Vostok has been quietly generating beneath 4 kilometers of Antarctic ice. And in 2012, when Russian scientists finally cracked through, what came back up glowing was never supposed to exist. That light. That inexplicable, persistent light. It has been there for 15 million years. And nobody, not NASA, not Russian science, not the most advanced detection equipment on Earth, can explain why it will not stop. Beneath the East Antarctic Ice Sheet, sealed away since before humans walked upright, sits a lake the size of Lake Ontario. No sunlight reaches it, no fresh oxygen from above, no connection to the outside world in any measurable form. The pressure down there is 350 times what you feel standing here right now. It should be dark, it should be dead, it should be silent, but the readings kept coming back wrong. And the closer scientists looked, the worse it got, because the glow is not coming from above. It is not a reflection. It is not instrument error. It is coming from inside the water itself. And the water inside Lake Vostok shares something deeply unsettling with the oxygen currently moving through your blood right now. Here is what they found when they finally drilled through in 2012. After 20 years of drilling through ice thick enough to bury the Empire State Building 4 times over, the drill bit broke into liquid water. For the first time in 15 million years, something from the surface touched Lake Vostok. The water that rushed up was oxygen-saturated at 50 times the normal level. 50 times. Every surface lake on Earth sits somewhere between 8 and 12 milligrams per liter. Lake Vostok was registering concentrations that would be immediately chemically toxic to virtually every life form we know. The kind of oxygen saturation that can make water glow under the right conditions. And the samples they brought back, they contained microbial DNA. Alive, active, DNA sequences that matched nothing in any database on Earth. Not a close relative, not a distant cousin. A completely unknown branch of life, thriving in what should have been a sterile, crushing, lightless tomb. That is the part the reports quietly moved past, because the public story locked onto the microbes. Exciting. A sidebar in a science magazine. What the internal research notes kept flagging, and what kept getting pulled back for further verification, was the light. Not bioluminescence triggered by surface exposure. Not a glow on a sample slide. The thermal imaging data gathered before the drill ever broke through showed anomalous luminescent signatures rising from the deepest part of the lake. Thermal, yes, but also spectral. Light in a wavelength range that geothermal heat alone does not produce. And the emission had a pattern, slow, rhythmic, like breathing. They reclassified it as instrument anomaly. That reclassification has never been revisited publicly. Here is where it gets personal. That oxygen level, the impossible 50 times saturation, does not just sit passively in the water. It changes the water. High-pressure, hyperoxygenated water under sustained geothermal heat can produce a chemiluminescent reaction. Light without fire, cold light generated by chemical energy releasing directly as photons. No flame, no heat source, just molecules doing what molecules do when they carry enough pressure and enough oxygen. They glow. Your own body does this right now. Inside every cell, enzymatic oxidation reactions produce faint biophotonic emissions, so dim you would need total darkness and an electron multiplier camera to detect them. But they are real, measurable. You are technically a continuous and living light source. Lake Vostok appears to be doing the same thing at geological scale. The lake sits over a geothermal hotspot. The 3.7 kilometers of ice above it acts as a pressure cap, forcing dissolved oxygen deeper into the water column, supercharging every cubic meter with stored chemical energy. The result is a lake-wide chemiluminescent cycle, slow, vast, self-sustaining, generating light inside a completely sealed, lightless system. But here is what dismantles the instrument anomaly explanation entirely. The spectral signature recorded does not match chemical luminescence alone. It matches a second phenomenon layered beneath it, acoustic resonance. The lake has a standing wave pattern, a frequency, a hum that the overlying ice transmits faintly all the way to the surface. Russian scientists recorded it in 1997. The raw data has never been published. In 29 years, think about what that means. A lake sealed for 15 million years has developed an internal rhythm, light, heat, acoustic resonance that mirrors biological processes at a scale we do not have language for. Whatever is inside that lake did not merely survive isolation. It organized. The oxygen did not merely saturate the water. It synchronized with the geothermal energy below to create something the instruments could not categorize, and the scientists could not explain without vocabulary that did not officially exist. When the 2012 drill samples were fast-tracked to the Pasteur Institute in France for independent analysis, the biological load was described in an internal communication, later leaked on a Russian science forum, as unexpectedly complex. That analysis was never formally published. The samples were returned. The drill site was sealed. Further drilling was suspended indefinitely. Not paused, suspended. There is a difference. The ice above Lake Vostok is melting, not from above, but from below. The geothermal activity beneath it is increasing. At current rates, the pressure cap will thin enough within this century that whatever is cycling in that water, whatever is glowing, resonating, organizing, will begin finding pathways upward through the ice sheet. Nobody is officially studying what happens when it does. The question is not what is glowing inside Lake Vostok. The question is whether it has been waiting 15 million years for the ice to finally break, and whether, when it does, it will still be waiting, or whether it will already be moving.